This is what it takes to test a car's emissions. But this isn't the kind of test any car maker could cheat when properly done. Emission standards vary from country to country. According to an ICCT report, during road tests, depending on climate and driving conditions, as well as the drivers themselves, CO2 emissions are 40% worse than lab results, and nitrogen oxide emissions are 7 times higher than the legal limit. Those numbers would violate world standards anywhere, making lab testing useless.
We can see on a second-by-second basis how that car is performing as you're driving through the mountains or driving down by the coast, and see how that all impacts on the emissions.
Emissions analytics contributed to that ICCT report. Their equipment will measure things that can drive up a car's emissions, everything from speed bumps to temperature and humidity. So all the emissions coming out of the exhaust are traveling through this tube into this gas analyzer. This will measure the composition of the gases, so how much CO2 and nitrogen oxide this car is putting out. Now, while all this equipment can be found in a lab, this test is designed to be mobile.
Ready for the road trip?
Absolutely.
As far as we're concerned, the way that cars are monitored on the road needs to be improved, whether that's in America testing more of the vehicles that come off the production line, or in Europe testing cars as they're driven on the road rather than just in a lab.
What do higher nitrogen oxide, or NOx emissions, mean for consumers and public health?
It has a detrimental effect for health, particularly in urban areas, because NOx, particularly NO2, is known to aggravate heart and lung conditions such as asthma.
Poor testing is also bad for the consumer, resulting in worse gas mileage than advertised. As research found, the gap between the lab and real-world driving conditions costs the average consumer an extra $500 per year. For regulators and car companies, it's still a long road ahead to cleaner emissions and better testing. Charisse Pham, CNN, London.